Hello guys, Inside United here and welcome here to today's video. We are now into March, which means we are going to be doing our February Manchester United monthly review. As you can see, it is currently snowing, snow on the ground. It's quite an icy day. It's quite a cold day, so we're not going to spend too long out here recording this video, but I just realised that obviously we have just had the February month and it is time to do another monthly video. So Manchester United's month started off with a victory over Huddersfield. Alexis Sanchez scoring his first goal. He made all the headlines. Manchester United were frustrated for large parts of that first half. Scott McTominay should have had a penalty because it was an awful foul, but Romelu Lukaku broke the deadlock after a lovely ball from Mata, and then Alexis Sanchez, after missing the original penalty, scored the rebound. Alexis Sanchez, his first goal for Manchester United, but also his first goal in front of the Old Trafford faithful, and it was a fantastic win for Manchester United as well, because you know, he really did need to get that result, and with such big games coming up in the league, including Chelsea and Liverpool and all that, so that was a really good win for Manchester United against Huddersfield. And then we followed that up with a frustrating defeat against newly promoted Newcastle. Manchester United are a team who usually have so many good results against sort of newly promoted sides. However, this time it was not a good result for Manchester United. A 1-0 defeat against Newcastle. Team United beat 4-1 in November, obviously, and I will know that because I was actually at the game. You can watch the match day vlog on this very channel. Manchester United lost that game 1-0. It was a really poor defensive performance, but just United, we had the chances, we just did not put them away, and that it just cost us in the end. It really did cost us, and as I said, that really meant that United had to pay the penalty because in the end Matt Ritchie threw Newcastle into the lead, and United in the end had to settle for nothing. And not a great result for Manchester United, especially, as I said, with our next game being Chelsea at home, and obviously Chelsea started to close the gap, and suddenly that whole of the top four has really become tight between second to fifth. I know City are running away with it at the top, and Arsenal are sort of running away from the rest of the top five, but overall it is getting very tight there. Manchester United's next game though was then in the FA Cup, a couple of games in other cup competitions, and Manchester United are now into the FA Cup quarterfinals, which is something we can look forward to in March. Manchester United overcame Huddersfield, the team we played literally 2 weeks earlier, 2-0 thanks to a fantastic Romelu Lukaku brace, and they were both fantastic goals, really nicely put in from Romelu Lukaku. The first one, he showed some great strength, held off his man, and then nicely composed finish into the corner but put United ahead. And then in the second half we went and won it 2-0. There was some controversy in that game, you might remember, because Juan Mata had a goal which even now sparks can bait, and it actually went to VAR. We actually had VAR, and VAR actually made the decision, and everyone was still confused because there was these lines which were all squiggly in that. So that was quite a weird game, but Manchester United overall came over 2-0 when it was nothing. It was not a good performance of Manchester United, and obviously all that with Paul Pogba missing the game through illness or whatever it was. We had quite a lot of injuries, suspensions, that sort of thing, so it wasn't exactly a great Manchester United team, but overall we overcame Huddersfield, and that was important because I know we beat Huddersfield a couple of weeks, 2 weeks before, but the last time we went to Huddersfield we lost, and after losing against Newcastle just a couple of the week before, if we had gone out the FA Cup, then you could say the only thing we were really left in is the Champions League, and let's face it, are we going to win the Champions League? So that was a really important win, and as I said, we will have that quarter-finals to look forward to. A strange Saturday night fixture, 7:45 kickoff is what is coming up against Brighton and Hove Albion. So Manchester United's quarter-final opponents are Brighton and Hove Albion, and that will be played at Old Trafford, and the winner will have a semi-final and a place at Wembley, and potentially a cup final on the horizon. So we will look forward to that. I think it's 17th of March, that is. Manchester United's next game though was in the Champions League. The long-awaited return in the Champions League was back, and Manchester United were back in the Champions League, and this was the occasion which most United fans were looking for. United finished top of their group, winning 5 of their 6 games, and they were drawn against Sevilla, the team who finished second and runners-up in Liverpool's group. Manchester United overall didn't play very well, and although they didn't play very well and it was a poor performance from United, it was an alright result. This was one of the things which divides opinions. Is a 0-0 draw away in the first leg a good or a bad or an alright result? And for me, it's an alright result. It wasn't a good result, and the reason why I say it wasn't a good result is because So again, it was one of those ones which caused a divide of opinion for Manchester United, and Manchester United drew 0-0 away at Sevilla, and many fans were a bit disappointed with that because all it needs is Sevilla to score one at Old Trafford in the game in March, and Manchester United have to score two. Sevilla score one, United have to win the game. If United went there and got a 1-0 draw, then United could draw 0-0. If United went there and drew 2-2, United could draw 1-0. If United went and won at Sevilla, then they could go and get a draw at Old Trafford. So some fans were a little bit disappointed with that, especially how, the performance was, not just the result, but the performance overall. Some fans were slightly disappointed with that result for Manchester United, and you can understand why to some extent. But I don't think there was such an overreaction by some of our fans, to be honest with you, because although it wasn't a fantastic result, it wasn't a bad result. A fantastic or a good result for me would have been actually going away to Sevilla and winning, and then putting yourself in a position where you only need to go and draw against them at Old Trafford. I think a bad result would have been going and getting beat. We could quite easily have got beat if it weren't for David De Gea. I think if we had got beat, then that makes it much more difficult. So I suppose maybe we should sort of be happier with the draw, because at the end of the day, all we need to do is beat Sevilla at Old Trafford and we are through. Only one team have won at Old Trafford all season. So, Sevilla will probably be looking to try and go through by scoring more away goals and getting a draw. That's the risk, is the away goals, the fact we haven't got an away goal. But as I said, I'm still confident that we will beat Sevilla at home. So Manchester United drew 0-0 away at Sevilla, and the game, the month was then rounded up with a game at home to Chelsea, and this was a massive game because United were 3 points ahead of Chelsea ahead of this game. So had United have won, they would have been 6 points ahead of Chelsea. Had Chelsea won, it would be level 1 point. So this was a massive game in the race of top four, and it was one which Manchester United won. Manchester United have had a bad run of form against a team like Chelsea for a long time, and last season we beat them at home, but apart from that, we don't beat them at home that often. But Manchester United were in the end victorious by a 2-1 victory. Chelsea probably the better team in the first half, but Manchester United the better team in the second. Chelsea took the lead 1-0 by a fantastic goal from Willian. De Gea could have done a little bit better, but we really can't criticise De Gea after what he did in Seville only a couple of days before. Manchester United got the equaliser, a lovely work goal from Alexis Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku, and I think Martial was involved as well, I can't remember, but that put United level at 1-1. Fantastic from Lukaku, his first goal against top six opposition this season. And then Manchester United managed to seal a fantastic victory against a top six side, only the second time we've done that this season after that win against Arsenal in November. But Manchester United sealed it off. No, it was December, I think, wasn't it? But Manchester United sealed it off with a fantastic 2-1 win thanks to a Jesse Lingard header, a fantastic ball from McTominay, found Lukaku, he did fantastically to then find Lingard, and then Lingard scored a header, and it was a fantastic header as well. Courtois left on the spot, Azpilicueta looking around thinking where did he come from. Jesse Lingard pounced on Chelsea's mistake. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1, and United end up in the end having quite a good month. Although we lost to Newcastle, it was a good month for United because, we've strengthened our position, and we've strengthened our grip on second place by beating Chelsea and getting some good results like against Huddersfield. We're into the FA Cup quarter-finals after beating Huddersfield in the FA Cup 5th round, was it? And we're also in a very good position to get through to the Champions League quarter-final, which is something we haven't done for so many seasons. So overall, it's been a good month for Manchester United in February. All but that Newcastle result, Manchester United have done well on the pitch, and let's hope we can continue it in March. In March, we've got some big games coming up and some real games which I'm really excited about. So we start off March with a game away at Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Then we have our old real rivals in Liverpool. Liverpool visit Old Trafford. They are very much in form. They come to Old Trafford on Saturday the 10th of March. A week later, we have that FA Cup quarter-final against Brighton, and then I think we've then got Sevilla again in the Champions League, or Sevilla comes before Brighton. It's one of the two, but we've got some big games in March with 3 Premier League games, an FA Cup quarter-final, and that Champions League second against Sevilla. Anyway, it is freezing, so I'm going to go now. But thank you for watching this February review, and we'll see you after March. Goodbye.